everybody. This afternoon, we have an opportunity to sit down here and talk with two representatives who are running here in Spalding County for county commissioner of a couple of districts. So today we are having a discussion called The Lead Up. And we're going to be discussing with you guys some questions and concerns that your community, the districts that you would like to represent, as well as finding out who you are and how long you've been here in Spalding County and what your goals are. So let's start with you, sir. Since we are starting from my stage right, let's go ahead and find out who you are. Tell us your name, who you are, what you represent, and what are some of the concerns in your district?
All right, so I'm so happy for this opportunity. My name's Zachary Fuller. I'm running for City Commissioner in District 5. District 5 is from around the Griffin High School area, up North Expressway to the neighborhoods around Walmart, so it's like the northwest part of the city. I'm running to represent younger voters and to bring new ideas, because the incumbent I'm running against has been there for over 2 decades, and I hear from most people they don't feel like their local government's doing enough. So I'm trying to step up and be able to be there for our constituents. The main concern I hear from people in District 5 is electricity and housing prices. There's a lot of wealth inequality in our city, but especially in District 5, you can tell big difference between the concerns of people that live in one area versus the other. Some are worried about surviving paycheck to paycheck, and others are worried about more long-term. And I want to take care of everybody's issues, but it's definitely getting the wealth inequality under control that I'm most concerned about.
I see. So you're about that. Does your particular district have any main other concerns outside? Because see, that is broad, but what is it that they want to see happen if you were to be voted in?
I hear from people they want smart developments, because a lot of people realize the developments are already here. The city and the county are expanding.
Yeah.
And so there's no way to stop that. Some people don't like it, some people do like it, but people are concerned that it's going to be done the wrong way, and a lot of people are going to be left behind. So I want to be a voice for the working class on the Board of Commissioners to make sure that it's not just corporate takeover. Like, for example, decades ago when Walmart got here, a lot of mom and pop stores ended up closing.
Yeah.
And they sold Walmart as like, it's going to bring all these jobs. And it did bring 400 or 500 jobs. But those 400 or 500 jobs are also lost from mom and pop businesses.
Right.
So when you spend at Walmart, your money's going to the Walton family. Whereas if you spend at a local business, it's staying here in the local area.
Absolutely. Gotcha. Thank you so much for that, and welcome. Welcome to the Lead Up. Okay. And you, ma'am, please feel free to go ahead and introduce yourself and who you're representing today in the district.
My name is Tina Marie Morrison. I'm actually here to represent Mr. Ronnie Lowe. Mr. Ronnie Lowe. I have his picture here.
Okay.
And unfortunately, he couldn't be here. He had another engagement.
Okay.
So I'm here to represent him for District 1. District 1 is kind of, the way it's cut up, it's actually kind of chopped up. So you have the Fairmont area all the way over to the Easy Shop area.
Okay.
So the constituents in that area, Mr. Lowe has talked to some of them, and like you said, electricity, people are concerned about high utility bills and not having any type of resources or any type of assistance from the city when it comes to that. Another concern is crime. I know with Fairmont Park, for example, I used to live in that area. We were told at a town hall meeting that we had a couple years ago that over 90% of the violent crime in the city of Griffin is within, I believe, a 1 to 2 mile radius of Fairmont Park.
I see.
So that's a concern.
Okay.
That crime, of course, is going to impact our schools. It's impacting our children. So we need more programs for the children. And then also as well, when you talk about housing, so I don't know if a lot of people are aware that Griffin itself is over 60% renters. But we're dealing with a lot of slumlords. We have people that are living in conditions they should not be living in. And that's something we need to be addressing as a Board of Commissions.
Okay. Gotcha. And so what are the concerns that um, your district
Mhm.
is focusing on outside of what you just discussed? Does it sound like it's very similar to what
It
you're,
does.
okay,
It
okay.
does. Like you said, there's this imbalance. So you have people that are doing okay, and you have people that are struggling.
Mm-hmm.
You have people living paycheck to paycheck and don't know if they can pay their light bill, don't know if they can buy groceries. Then you have other people who don't have that worry. But
Mm-hmm.
how can we take care of everybody?
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so another thing Mr. Lowe talked about is making sure that he has regular town hall meetings
Mhm.
to stay connected,
Yeah.
not just get in office and then lose that connection
Mm.
with his constituents.
I see. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
One of the first things that we definitely wanted to talk about is we're going to be focusing on three main topics today.
Mhm.
And the first one that we're going to bring to the table ultimately is the incoming of a data center to the Spalding County area. Now, there are some concerns that residents have in regards to, will it bring jobs? Will we see more opportunity from an economic standpoint? And then lastly, one of the biggest concerns is environmental.
Mhm.
And I wanted to lead off with you first, and let's talk about, Tina, the concerns that your community has. Number one, in your district, what are those concerns? Do they know about it? Here's the other thing. And what do they expect to be done for them to be protected? Because we understand exactly what data centers around the nation are currently doing and impacting communities. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, I had this conversation with Mr. Lowe, and one of the biggest issues is people are not aware of what data centers do. What purpose do they serve?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then finding that out, then how does that impact me as just a consumer or just a constituent of a community? And when it comes to data centers, when you talk about the jobs, well, usually you're going to have that 2 to 3 year period while they're being built.
Yeah.
You may have construction jobs, people staying in hotels or Airbnbs, but once the construction is gone, you know, it doesn't take a lot to man a data center.
No.
So it's not going to have long-term jobs, but we can have long-term impacts. Recently, the city of Griffin had one of their first meetings to discuss data centers, and it was a very detailed meeting. And one thing that I kept hearing over and over was 18 years. Like, how long will these contracts be with these data centers?
Yeah.
So when we already know we have a 50-year contract with MEAD when it comes to our current utilities and our rates. So once we establish these contracts or these buildings with data centers and we lock in these agreements, how is that going to affect the consumer?
Yes.
And the consumer rate's going to go up.
Yeah.
So people that are already struggling to pay their bills, they're going to fall even further behind. So that's a huge concern. Mr. Lowe actually said he feels like this is something that we need to table. There are communities, Coweta County, there are several counties within Metro Atlanta that have done moratoriums that said, hey, for the next 90 days, the next 180 days, we're not going to do anything with data centers. We're going to make sure we become more educated. We need to know, like, do we need to establish certain policies or procedures, you know, for our planning and zoning and development to look at things like how this is going to affect our environment with light pollution, with noise pollution, how is this going to impact our water resources and our energy. So that is something Mr. Lowe definitely spoke about, is making sure that maybe we need to table this right now. And just become more educated about it before we just, I mean, there's data centers all over Georgia. Georgia has the highest growth rate of data centers in the nation. So they're there. So why not educate ourselves, let everybody else play with it, and we can see what they're doing and maybe learn from what they're doing wrong.
Right, absolutely. And Zachary, so what are your community's concerns where you currently are?
So there's a lot of concerns about the environmental impact, but then also what the county is investing in this versus the return. So I've been very big on this issue. It concerns me a lot that the county commissioners are considering a data center here because of the impact we've seen on our surrounding counties. Fayette County now has 2 data centers. The one in Fayetteville was set up in a way that it strained the entire grid. And there were rolling blackouts, and now they put up big power lines in people's backyards to try and prevent that. The way Spalding is trying to address that is put the data center directly on the line from the power plant.
Mm-hmm.
Now that would prevent rolling blackouts, but my concern about that is, especially if they sign in the contract where they have to get the power first.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of contracts have that. You cannot turn this off. Like the hospital has that. You cannot turn our
Right.
electricity off. If there's a disaster,
Yes.
which natural disasters keep getting more prevalent, terrorist attacks domestically keep getting more prevalent.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a disaster and we need energy,
Mm-hmm.
that data center is getting that energy first.
Yeah.
That concerns me a lot. Also, the water. You brought up Coweta County. Coweta's discussing getting a data center as well, but their water supply would be supplemented by Spalding's water supply. Spalding is has one of the best water systems in the state. We supply water to Butts County, and then when other counties need it, we will help them as well. A lot of times that is Coweta County that needs it. So if they're getting this data center, we're going to have to supplement our water there. And then the water for this development, instead of the one in Peachtree City, where it's a consistent flow of water, they use over 60,000 houses worth of water every year at that one. The way they want to address that here is have a cyclical system, but a cyclical system doesn't prevent that problem. It's about 40 gallons a year annually once the water is used, but a huge, massive amount of water has to be used and put in that system first.
Mm-hmm.
So once it's constructed, there's going to be an immediate impact on our water, which will also be an impact on the water of surrounding counties,
Yes.
especially Butts County, who
Yeah.
relies on us for clean water.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the big concerns I have. That, and I don't think we need it. You know, these data centers are built by big corporations to hold data that they use to market
Mm-hmm.
to us
Mm-hmm.
at best.
Mhm.
The other things they use it for, you know, police departments are starting to use these AI systems to
Yeah.
try and predict crime and say somebody's guilty based on the AI looking at a picture of their face.
Yeah.
That's what these data centers are used for. And just like you said, they pitch it as like 400 jobs. Those
Yeah.
400 jobs are construction jobs.
Mhm.
Once it's built, it's going to take less people than it takes to run a McDonald's.
Yes.
That's a fact.
Yeah. 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 Wow.
So I really don't think it's worth it.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so let's talk a little bit further about the overall cost of the data center itself. And a couple of questions that I myself actually have are, what's it going to cost me? I'm a resident. I'm a homeowner. I get my power from, Griffin Power, and my water and my sewage and all of that is run by the city here in Spalding County. So I am curious as to what impacts this particular data center will have, and what should we be concerned with, and how would you, as a part of the commission, be able to be the voice for those of us who won't be at those meetings, or who cannot be because we work, or we can't get there, or we're physically unable to attend?
So I would start off by saying we're not going to know the exact cost until the contract is made.
Gotcha.
The main fight in front of us right now is getting a denial and or a moratorium from the zoning commissioner meeting.
I see.
Which the next one, which hopefully they'll be voting on it. They keep pushing it back, but it's September 25th. That's
Got it.
Thursday at 6 p.m. They should be voting on the zoning for it, and then they'll get the final contract from the group, and we'll see. What I would guess is something similar to when the hospital got turned over to Wellstar, and they had a tax break deal. And so the energy they're using, those rate hikes are going to be put on consumers. So with all the energy and water that the data center would be using, if they have a further tax break deal, they're already going to get a tax incentive from the state, but if the county gives them one as well, if they have to raise rates, those rates are going to be paid by regular people, not the data center. So when I'm elected, I would like any kind of contract like that to not be passed on to consumers. Pay your fair share. If you're coming from a large corporation that can make an investment like this, like Montana Property Group, the one that is proposing this, they should pay their fair share.
Absolutely. I agree with that. And you, Tina, what would you say?
Honestly, right now, Mr. Ronnie Lowe, that actually doesn't even feel like we should be moving forward. We should be tabling this until we're better educated on the total impact on the community. So right now, Spalding County has approved the data center.
Mm-hmm.
So the city itself has not approved a data center.
Got it.
So with the county approving it, how is that going to impact? There's 3 utility providers in the county.
Right.
You have Georgia Power, you have an EMC, and then some parts are covered by Griffin Utilities.
Mm-hmm.
So who is it going to impact? Is it going to impact all 3?
Mm-hmm.
Is it going to impact one over the other?
Mm-hmm.
And then with the city, we definitely need to be waiting to see what happens with the county
Mm-hmm.
before we move forward,
Mhm.
because it's definitely going to impact Griffin Utilities customers.
It is. Yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah.
It's a lot to consider.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Well, we could dig deeper into it, and I know that we have some other topics that we definitely want to cover when we come back. We're going to be digging a little bit further into another topic on our list, and so let's take a quick breather, and let's come back in a couple minutes. If you're looking for the latest in coffee, small appliances, cookware, and other culinary delights for your kitchen, make sure that you check out our sponsor for today, Culinary Galore. Head on over to their website at culinarygalore.com for all things culinary. Idea of the type of nightlife that happens here, from the live bands to the new development that is coming, to the nightclubs that have started to spawn, to the events that are happening, to the little golf course that's downtown, and the historic Griffin Hotel and the Southern Social. We have 2 breweries that are literally walking distance from one another, that literally brew their own beer on site, and a place to play games and do all of these things. And there's this community within a community, it seems, that is beginning to develop here. And so we were talking about, while the cameras were not running, and I thought this would be a good time, the question that I have for you. So there's one side of the aisle that says, we need this development. It's wonderful to have this type of development coming, because 20 years ago, we didn't have that opportunity. They put a stop at everything, and Griffin lost, because at one time they thought Griffin was going to be the main thoroughfare for everything and not Atlanta. And what made us lose was because transportation changed. It was not going to be railroads, it would be cars. And so now Griffin feels like, and I've heard this from older folks who have lived here their entire lives, they feel like the revitalization is helping the last county in quote unquote metro Atlanta to begin to see some of the development that other portions of Atlanta are seeing. But how does that impact the other side? The folks who live here, the folks who work here, the folks who play here, the folks who worship here. What does that look like for those constituents in the area where you live in? What's that impact look like?
Well, for District 1, like we were talking about, it's an area that is mostly majority minority, let's say that. High crime, low education scores. You have people that are struggling just to pay bills, living check to check, and high renters, over 60% renters in Griffin. So, but when we look, of course we want the development. That's great, because you want to have that opportunity. You want to have that growth that's going to attract people to come here. But when we say at what cost, who's actually benefiting from this?
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're a renter, whether you're a renter or a homeowner,
Mm-hmm.
your rent is contributing to those property taxes.
Mm-hmm.
If you have Griffin Utilities, your utility payment is helping to fund the city budget. A lot of people don't realize that the profit from Griffin Utilities funds 50% of the city budget.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have individuals in our district, in District 1, who are, like I said, struggling to make it.
Yeah.
But they're the ones helping keep the city afloat.
Yeah.
So when we have all this development and growth and this nightlife and everybody's taking advantage of it, but that's everybody in the county.
Okay.
That's not just everybody in District 1 or District 2 or District.
Yeah.
It's not just the city of Griffin. Everybody's benefiting from that, but at what cost?
Mm-hmm.
You know, who's the one that's actually really funding it and supporting it, and what can we do to make sure that as we grow, we don't leave people out?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Good one.
Yeah.
And Zachary, what are your thoughts on that?
I think all those points are very true. A lot of low-income residents are not going to benefit from this like others would. I do think it's really good that we're getting more businesses and more local businesses and more recreational things to do. I wish we had more recreational things for kids to do. I like that we're getting an adult scene because we didn't really have that before.
Yeah.
But also, we lost a lot of stuff for kids. Like, we lost the bowling alley, you know? And so now, where do you go? Skate in? Not everyone wants to skate,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
And it's a little bit out of the way for a lot of people, depending on where you live at. So kids don't have very many opportunities to do stuff. And then it's the culture that I think is a big problem of sort of the businesses in downtown. Like, it feels like there's a lot of in-groups, a lot of cliques, a lot of I have money, you don't, you know? And I want to build a city where everybody feels welcome.
Yeah.
So I know the second Saturdays, a lot of those are free, don't have much charge to them. I want to expand on that. One, get the word out more, but also make sure there are more free opportunities and more family-friendly things to do while we continue to grow the local businesses coming in. Because I don't see it stopping.
No.
I see the development continuing in general. Like, as the Atlanta metro area sprawls out, you know, we are here at the bottom. That's going to keep happening. But with that, we should also use our budget that everybody pays into, like you said, from utilities and such, to give more services to people, better transportation options,
Absolutely.
and then better health options. We need mental health treatment in this county more than just, like, it's great that we have a couple places, but they are over capacity and not everyone has access to them. We need to see what the city can do to actually help benefit mental health services, get better transportation, and help people stay in their homes. Whether it's elderly people on fixed income or young people who are renting or whatever the case, people are getting pushed out of their houses in favor of people who are more well off. You know, not intentionally on their part, but they're moving into these houses that were previously lived in by other families that got pushed out.
Yeah.
A good example, if I may, my neighbors, they have been living there whole life pretty much. I was born in Griffin, so my family home, the neighbors to us had been living there. And then when the mom died, the kids chose to sell the house, but when it got sold, it was sold to a realty firm. I don't want to say the name of the realty firm, but they've been buying up a lot of stuff in the Atlanta area. The rent went up to, well, one, it wasn't rent before, it was a house somebody owned. That's how all those houses were built in the neighborhood. But now the rent price is over $1,600 a month.
My goodness.
Which years ago, before the pandemic, you could get a much nicer house in Atlanta for cheaper than that. So the prices have gone insane and people don't know what to do. And I think that was a big part to why the houses problem has gone up so much. Obviously, it was already there, but it got a lot worse during the pandemic. It has not gotten better. And I think it has to do with the price of housing.
Yeah. Okay. So what I'm hearing from both of you before we move on to the next topic is, hey, it's great that we're seeing this type of development in the county seat of Spalding County, which is Griffin, but make it fair for everybody. If I'm paying into it, I should sit at the table too.
Yes.
Okay. Very good. All right.
If you're looking for the latest in coffee, small appliances, cookware, and other culinary delights for your kitchen, make sure that you check out our sponsor for today, Culinary Galore. Head on over to their website at culinarygalore.com for all things culinary.
Where our schools rank in the state of Georgia. And we also talked about how senior citizens, those who are 55 and up, are paying into the school system and what HB 758 is. So let's kind of discuss that just a little bit so that those who will be viewing and listening and reading about this a little bit later, what is it? Let's talk about that. And what's the current feedback from those people who are in your districts? What are they talking about? And what do we need to do? Is this a benefit for our seniors? And what will this do to impact the school system? Because if they're not going to be paying into it, where's the money going to come from? Since we are already at an educational deficit in this particular county. So, Zachary, let's start with you.
Yeah, so I'll start by answering what it is. So our for Spalding County, our House representatives, our two House representatives and our state senator wrote this bill, had it signed by the governor, but it's a ballot initiative. So now everybody in Spalding County gets to vote on it this November, yes or no. A yes vote is for the exemption and a no vote is to block the exemption. Now, I feel like this bill has put people in a rock and a hard place because it addresses a problem that, one, other counties in the state, a lot of the other counties already have a homestead exemption for seniors. And seniors are hurting. They need this exemption. And this exemption is up to 5 acres. So it is like if you just have a little plot of land that you're living on as a fixed income senior, this could save you a lot of money. And it's relief seniors need. But the exemption they're getting it from is school taxes. Now that's a problem. The estimates I've seen that this could cause is a 2% to a 10% impact on the budget. Either way, that's a lot of money. If it's 10%, that's like $1.5 million. And to get a balanced budget, especially in this national environment where federal funding is not guaranteed anymore.
Right.
They don't know what kind of federal funding they're going to get until it's basically sent out to them. So when they're crafting their budget, they're going to have to make cuts, and the school's already underfunded.
Yes.
Based on the income of the county, our schools are struggling. I know some teachers have already been cut as of last year. So like me personally, I'm a no vote. And I've heard from a lot of the younger people in my district that they don't like it either because they're worried about their kids in school.
Yeah.
I was talking to some young parents in my district that were saying they've already pulled one of their kids out of school. They have 2 kids. The older one they left in public school here, and then the other one they put into private school because the school was already so underfunded. They felt like they weren't getting the right attention from the teachers and the staff because they were so overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And now this is going to make the problem worse.
Yeah.
Like we already have so many problems. I feel like this would make it worse. And seniors do need relief. It's just I don't think this is the right way to provide it.
Gotcha. Thank you. Tina, what is your feedback from your community?
This is it's a tough one.
Yeah.
Me personally, I feel like it's something that I would go yes on.
Okay.
I know Mr. Lowe, he agrees with it. That it's something that's long overdue for the relief for our seniors. Like we said, the seniors are already living on a fixed income. They're not working. They're not getting raises every year. They're not getting increases. If you're on Social Security disability, you're not guaranteed those cost of living increases. So as taxes continue to go up, costs continue to go up.
Yeah.
But their income is not rising. They need some relief somewhere.
Yeah.
And so then the breakdown, so of course is based on your income. So there's going to be different brackets. So if you make up to $25,000, then you may be eligible for 100%. Up to $25,000, you're struggling.
Right.
So
yeah.
Is it fair for that individual, especially being a senior, to have to be paying into school taxes? When it comes to our education system, what are we doing to find resources other places?
Yeah.
Because like we said, we're already failing. So if they're already receiving the money and they're failing, what else are we going to do? Because we can't just keep giving you money. You're not making improvements. And then it causes other people to suffer as a result.
Okay.
But we're not getting anything for it. No, there's no return on our investment.
Gotcha.
At that point.
Okay.
So is it fair for our seniors to have to continue to struggle or to suffer because of that? I feel like there's other areas that we probably should look at to see where we're getting that money from. Because as it stands, the last time I looked, Spalding County was one of only 3 counties in the entire state that did not offer school exemptions to seniors. So if everybody else can figure out how to do it and have exceptional schools, then we need to be looking at our school system and seeing what we're doing wrong.
Absolutely. So, bravo for that. So then let me pose this to the both of you, and whoever wants to lead off. Where do we get those monetary resources from to support our school system, especially as here's something to think about long term, right? And what we're looking at here in my brain, I'm thinking, we know where our school system currently is, right? It ain't okay. We're just going to put that out there. And I forgot what the percent was. 14, is it, or something like that? Well, at this point, what we're looking at is, where do we get the resources from? Who can we go to in successful districts or communities within the state of Georgia to identify what they are currently doing. And as this community grows, here's my concern. This is just coming from someone who's had two students that came out of Spalding County schools. One has graduated, gone on, done really, really well from college, and the other one is in college now. But my concern is everybody is not like me. They're not going to do the education at home. They're not going to do the additional work and the extra leg work. And so the concern I have is if we have parents and family members who are responsible for these young people getting that education, but we also have businesses that are coming here. And listen closely to this. We have families who will have to come here to work at these major corporations, right? Will these folks be looking at public schools, or will they be looking at private schools, or will they reconsider making Spalding County a choice because of the lack of resources and the percentile that we're at in terms of education for the state of Georgia? So I'm looking at this from a broader perspective of what could happen if this goes away, right? Does that make sense? Give me your feedback on that.
Well, as a mother, my sons are grown now, but when I moved to Griffin, my youngest son was still in high school, and looking at the scores, we came from Peachtree City, and then looking at the scores, I decided to put them in private school because I knew it wasn't going to be something that was at the level that we have high expectations as well.
Yeah.
And so I believe that all three of those things are going to be things that families consider and struggle with. They may consider not coming here at all.
Yeah.
They may consider private school, or because Griffin's or the Spalding County school system is so low. Well, now, guess what? You qualify for those grants and things from the government where you can use that money to put your child in a private school.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are taking that option as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, there are still options and things where families can, may still want to come here and not have to worry about the school system. So I know me personally, we just did private school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people, I'd say Spalding's already losing. You know, if we look at Fayette County, just to our north,
Yes.
it's one of the fastest growing in the state.
Yes.
People from out of state and other parts of the state go to Fayette County, and one of the big reasons is the school system. Now, why is their school system so good? The median income is about $96,000 a year.
Yeah.
Schools are mostly funded through taxes, whether
Correct.
it's school taxes or regular property taxes. You know, and so we're losing because we have a median income of about $36,000, so like $60,000 less than that.
Yes.
So our schools are already underfunded, and ultimately, I do think we should join the rest of the counties in the state in having a homestead exemption for seniors. I just don't know if now is the right time because of the attacks on the school system. Like, we're already strained based on how it's already set up. And then with all the people trying to cut public schools out of the option and force everybody into private schools. I think this is a huge detriment to our social fabric. I think having a strong public school where everybody can get an education no matter what
Yes.
is such a core piece of us being a modern industrial country, and especially a democracy. People
Yes.
need to have an education. So I think we do need to search for these solutions before we go for something like this bill. But it is ultimately the voter's choice, of course. How the school could be funded, see, now that's a difficult question because of how it's set up. It's set up to rely on these taxes
Yes.
based on your zip code.
Yes.
So then it's up to getting extra money through things like grants, but that's putting that work on the administration.
Yes.
You know, so it's just extra work. Regular people, I think, should be lobbying their Congress people and their state assembly people to try and pass bills to get more support from the state and the federal government. But on a local level, I'm hoping our school board can come up with unique solutions to help fix these problems. And I know a lot of parents step up. I've talked to a lot of parents who have put so much time into the school and gotten nothing back. They do it for free.
Right.
You know, like, I know one person who did all the legwork to get the Atlanta Braves to cover the cost of building the new lights at the baseball field. That wasn't the school. That wasn't the county. That was a mom that did that work to get that funding.
Good stuff.
So,
Okay.
So So we know that this vote is going to be up to the voters and in the city. But when we talk about where does the money come from, if it's not going to be coming, let's say it gets approved. And I know typically city commissions don't usually work with the school board. You know, that we kind of just leave that to the school system, you know, to determine, I guess, just for improvements or anything. So at what point do city commissioners say, hey, we need to get more actively involved in what's going on with our school systems?
Yeah.
Because how long has Spalding County been in a failing school system? So like at the rate that we're going now, we would never have this homestead exemption for seniors.
Yeah.
So at one point, do leaders say, hey, we need to be looking at the problem with the school system. Why are we scoring so low? You know, why are we? I was at a meeting at Moore Elementary, and they said their literacy rate was 16%. I said, what do you mean 16%? Like, that's 16. I had never heard of anything like that.
Yeah.
You know, the county average was 44%. The state average was, I believe, 67%. That's 16% is a problem.
It's pretty low. So then we also have to look at our educators and what's happening at the school board. But here's ultimately we're starting to squirrel. So we're gonna table that. And I'm going to say that's something we definitely need to come back and talk about on another podcast. I definitely can see where that is absolutely an issue. Because again, everybody's not going to be me. Everybody's not going to be another parent who is in their kid's face and sitting down with them and doing the extra work at home, because some people may not have the option to do so, or the education or the resources to do so either. So,
and then when we just look at, you know, you have your county commission, you have your city commission, you have the school board. So when do we work together?
When do we work together? And that is where we're going to stop. And when we come back, we're going to wrap up and, highlight anything that you all want to tell the community, and any other topics we want to cover before we end today's lead-in. Okay.
See, that's why.
I want to thank both of you for coming in and taking time out of your busy weekend to come and chat with us here in the lead-in. There is going to be another opportunity for you to speak directly to those folks in your community at a later date, and we're going to be sharing that here at the podcast. But any final words for the folks who are going to be watching this?
Well, I would say first, thank you all so much for having me. It's an honor to be here and get this opportunity. We need more opportunities to be able to get information out there. And I would say my final word is to anybody in District 5, you should go out and vote the way you feel is correct on all these issues. You know, we're not the only thing that's going to be on the ballot this year. But for me, know that when you elect me, I'm going to be up there as a vote for the working class, not for corporations. So I'm going to be a vote against data center developments and for improving systems that actually help people, like mental health services, transportation. I would also like to shout out a nonprofit I work for, the Fayette Spalding Cooperative.
Okay.
Because we are working to, what we were just talking about, the apathy, we are working on solutions to try and find people in the community and make them feel like they have a place, and then plug them in. You know, get them. We have a diverse group of things that we do, whether it's social events, work groups, training classes, or even protesting. And you get different people at each one, and then we try and take that and plug them into the broader community, the infrastructure that exists. So that's our way of trying to remedy these problems.
Excellent. Okay.
Again, thank you for allowing me to be here to represent Ronnie Lowe. I know he had said he couldn't be here today, but one thing he talks about is, you know, when people ask him what his platform is, he says, I don't have a platform. I'm here to do the job that the people want me to do.
I love that. Okay.
And he wants to make sure he stays engaged with District 1 constituents and to let people know that he cares about them and he's there to work for them.
Okay.
So.
All right.